The word alcohol hides a secret in plain sight. Break it apart. Al and kohol. Al, the Arabic prefix meaning the. Kohol, from the ancient Indian kohal or kuhla, a word for essence, distillate, or purified soul. Long before Arabia, Indian alchemists were distilling fire into spirit, calling it madhya, the drinkable flame. When traders took this science west, they added al. The world remembered the drink but forgot the civilization that invented it. Alcohol, the world's oldest spirit, born from India's fire. The word spirit was born in India. In Ras Ayana Shastra, the ancient Indian science of transformation, alchemists believed every substance carried a dravya atman, the soul within matter. Through fire and condensation, they extracted that soul, the rasa. The rasa meant essence, vitality, spirit. That's the concept the world translated and later confused with alcohol. The truth is, what we call spirits today began as India's experiment to separate consciousness from matter. The Valmiki Ramayana mentions 4 kinds of liquor: Madhu, Surā, Asva, and Arishta, used in feasts and rituals. In Mahabharata, warriors and even the Yadavs drank Surā, leading to their own destruction, not forbidden but warned against excess. The Arthashastra of the Mauryas taxed and regulated alcohol, proof of a thriving brewing trade. Later, Kushan rulers imported grapevine along silk routes, while Tamil Chola literature described taverns and palm toddy on the southern coast. From scripture to empire, India never banned drinking. It studied it and set rules for balance. So here's a thought. Every time you take a sip of something, water, coffee, or wine, you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding one of the forces that runs it. Ayurveda says your body is like a small universe, powered by 3 invisible currents. Vata, the wind that moves everything. Pitta, the fire that transforms everything. And Kapha, the earth that holds it all together. Now here's where it gets interesting. Alcohol is Agneya, made of fire, which means it feeds your inner flame, your Agni. That's your digestion, your metabolism, your spark. So a little alcohol can stroke that fire, make you warm, social, alive. But too much, it burns everything it touches. Ayurveda figured this out ages ago, that balance isn't philosophy, it is biology. When you drink, it's not just having fun, it's your fire meeting fuel. And what happens next depends entirely on how steady that fire is. So today, let's talk about this ancient love-hate story between alcohol and balance, through Ayurveda and through some of the wildest stories from our epics. Because honestly, this isn't a conversation about drinking. It's a conversation about energy and what happens when it overflows. After Bali's fall, Kishkinda rejoiced. The drums echoed, honey flowed, and the Vanaras danced through the night. Sugriva, crowned king, sat with Madhu in his hand, warmth in his chest, pride in his eyes. But the joy turned to indulgence, and indulgence to stillness. In Ayurveda, alcohol, madhya, is fire. It stirs Agni, the inner flame of energy and drive. But too much fire burns its own fuel. The body overheats, the mind slows, pitta surges, vata scatters, and Agni dulls. That's what happened in Kishkinda. The rains came, the kingdom slept, and when Lakshman entered the silent court, with fury in his eyes, the echo of Ram's promise finally broke the haze. The kingdom awakened, and balance returned. After Duryodhan poisoned Bhim and cruelly threw him into the Ganga river, Bhim's body went into chaos. The poison shot his pitta, the heat dosha way up, causing inflammation, while the shock and near death experience totally destabilized his vata, the movement dosha, leaving him paralyzed. But down in Nagaloka, the Naga king Vasuki and the elder Naga Aryaka offered him the legendary liquor of Nagaloka, the Rasakunda. The drink was a perfect Ayurvedic antidote. It was sweet and cooling, instantly turning down the dial on poisonous burning pitta. Plus, it was heavy and rich, exactly what was needed to ground and stabilize the frantic vata, pulling him back to life. Best of all, that same sweet, heavy nature massively boosted his kapha, the strength and structure dosha. After 8 days of rest, Bhima didn't just recover, he gained the legendary power of 10,000 elephants. That's Ayurveda. Fix the imbalance, then build unstoppable strength. Now let's move to our next story, Dwarka, the drunken end. It began like any other celebration in Dwarka, the sun sliding into the ocean, gold light dancing on the walls, and the Yadavs, Krishna's own clan, gathered by the sea. Cups of Surā flowed freely, the wine was rich, fermented from grain and palm, and laughter, louder than waves, filled the air. But somewhere between the toasts and the boasts, the warmth turned sharp, words grew heavy, the air thicker. Eyes that once met in brotherhood now flared in rivalry. That's how Pitta works when it crosses its limit. The fire that gives courage becomes the fire that burns reason. The mind overheats, memory fades, and pride takes over the tongue. What began as celebration became confrontation. One insult, then another, a shove, a strike. The sound of a cup shattering against stone, and the city that once glowed with Krishna's grace descended into madness. The Yadav, the warriors of the sea, fought each other with whatever they could find. Arrows, clubs, even uprooted reeds turned into iron in their hands. The sand turned red, the sea turned silent. When the fire of indulgence leaves no restraint, the body fights itself, and so does the kingdom. Morning, the shore was still, the wine had dried, the laughter was gone, and the city of Dwarka, the city built on divine order, was nothing but echo and salt. So, after all these stories of kings, wars, and feasts, what does Ayurveda really say about alcohol? Should we drink? Should we not? The truth, like everything in Ayurveda, is about balance. Alcohol or madhya isn't evil. It's energy, agneya, tattva, the element of fire. That means it can either ignite or incinerate. In small, mindful amounts, it can stimulate Agni, your inner fire, help digestion, improve circulation, even calm anxiety for some vata types. That's why ancient physicians prepared herbal wines, asava and arishta, fermented naturally with roots and spices, meant to heal, not numb. But when taken without awareness, too much, too often, or in the wrong state, it flips. The same fire that brings warmth starts to dry the body, overheat the mind, and burn through Ojas. Your vitality, your immunity, your essence. That's when clarity turns to fog, energy turns to exhaustion, and confidence turns to aggression. Ayurveda says there are only 3 right conditions to drink. After food, never on an empty stomach, because your Agni needs grounding. When your mind is calm, not angry or sad, because emotion amplifies effect. In winter or cold weather, when the body can handle heat. And 3 clear wrong ones. In summer or illness, it scorches what's already dry. When tired, hungry, or lonely, it deepens depletion. When it becomes a habit, it replaces awareness with repetition. So, how can this help us today? Think of it this way: every sip, every meal, every impulse feeds one of your inner forces. It feeds Agni you feel awake. If it disturbs Vata, you feel restless. If it inflames Pitta, you feel impatient. If it dampens Kapha, you feel heavy. Ayurveda's question isn't, do you drink? It's, who is drinking inside you? The balanced self or the burning one? So maybe the point isn't abstinence or indulgence, it's awareness. To know what your body needs, what your mind is asking for, and when the cup is no longer celebration but escape. Because balance isn't about control, it's about listening. And when you listen deeply, every fire can heal.